Warning. The language used on The Real Rush may be offensive to some viewers. Don't say I didn't fucking warn you.
You know, I've really got to hand it to the WWE Network for being the one constant channel that I've been tuned into pretty much nonstop throughout this entire lockdown madness when I'm not watching movies. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not just because your boy's one epic pro wrestling superfan, that part goes without saying. But even more so because of the fact that the WWE Network seems to be the only channel that doesn't seem to be screaming, hey, we're going to bring you 1, 2, maybe even 3 hours of non-stop entertainment that's going to help you take your minds off of all the life-threatening craziness that's going on in the world. But every 15 minutes we're going to cut away to 20 minutes worth of messages from our sponsors who are going to remind you exactly of all the life-fucking-threatening craziness that is going on in the world right now. And if you're down with that, I got 7 words for you. Bang your head to the opening riff!
Shut up and sit down.
What is happening, y'all? Welcome to The Real Rush, episode 86 of the joint, right here on YouTube. And let me just go ahead and say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, because just in case we run into some production troubles like we did with last week's episode, that way when we go to come out with this shit, it'll still be timely for that holiday. But we'll get to that here in a couple moments here. I am your boy Jado. What's happening? How's everybody doing on this bright and beautiful Sunday, May 17th, 2K20? It's not quite bright just yet. It's like a little bit after 6 o'clock once again in the morning as we film this joint right here, right now. As I stated last week, that 6 o'clock a.m. has become my new midnight. So this is still considered a late night shoot. Yo, fuck it. All the times and all the colors in the world and everything have been running together for the last couple days for your boy because of the fact that this was your boy's birthday weekend. Birthday weekend. Hit level 38 this past Friday. That was the 15th. And you know we ate some beans. Did I eat some beans? I don't remember what the fuck I ate on Friday. I don't remember a lot of things about Friday, as a matter of fact. Your boy had quite a good time spending all Friday into Friday night. As a matter of fact, it went from Thursday night into Friday morning. We got a little bit of rest. Then Friday, like early evening into yesterday morning, having a blast, just swilling on some wild cherry Pepsi, which was, awesome to my taste buds, because that was the first taste of any soda that your boy had any, at all throughout this lockdown, so that was nice. So it had some wild cherry Pepsi, a pack of blacks, my trusty PS4, below the Rush Tron right here that you can't see is below fucking Group and Stay Puft and all that shit down there on another shelf, playing 2K20, WWE, and some Saints Row 4. That's right, Saints Row 4, the high definition version, the not newly enhanced, but the re-enhanced version for PS4. Found that shit on sale on the PlayStation Store last week. I know that doesn't sound like much, but then you throw in a little bit of the shit from the Garden of Whedon, and goddamn, I'm still seeing, this shit's still a little wavy, to be quite honest here with you. And that means that my tolerance has gotten back down to par throughout the lockdown. So win-win for your boy here. All in all, awesome times we had for my birthday here. Now the waviness wasn't quite as extreme as, when we hit that Devil May Die shit, as y'all saw in last week's episode, but it was pretty fucking awesome, man. So let's speak about the elephant in the room right now. What the hell happened to to episode 85 to cause that shit to be delayed until this past Wednesday as far as release goes. Once again, I do apologize about that. And I want to thank everybody for their support when production wasn't exactly looking, like it was going to be fully green at the end of last weekend. So what happened was that little segment of the Bliss review that your boy wanted to go compile and put together and edit and shit. There were 40, out of that little minute and a half segment, there were 43 seconds of it that needed a little bit of special effects and whatnot. Well, the editing program and the special effects and the finalized product weren't all agreeing with each other. Basically, the shit was not applying to the finalized product. So your boy went through the motions of like updating the software, upgrading the software, upgrading his subscription to get a better piece of software and whatnot. And it was just roadblock after roadblock, man. Well, first off, my headphones broke. Then the effects wouldn't apply. So we went to go update that shit. Then we couldn't get the new program to download even after I had paid for it and shit. It was not good times. It was not good times. Anybody who was within the earshot heard a shit ton of fucking obscenities come from these very lips right here. So, sent out the message last week. It looked like it was going to be postponed for a couple days. At least that was. It looked like, honestly, that we might be postponed for a while, the way that things were looking. So, kind of let myself calm down for a day or two. Finally got back on here Tuesday night. Got somebody from Cyberlink on the line with me. He walked me through some steps, sent me some instructions via email and whatnot. And guess what, y'all? None of what he sent me fucking worked. I went onto the forum, hear from real people, like their support forum and shit. Real people who might have actually like gone through something at least similar to what I was going through. And one man had 3 little words that I didn't know were going to make the world of difference. Run as administrator. Run the program as an administrator. Got the new program to download. Now for that little clip, I had to actually download the Cyberlink Power Director from my phone, send that clip to the phone, apply the effect, send it back to the Nebuchadnezzar, my trusty laptop right here, and then put it into the finished product. But all in all, we got episode 85 off the ground. So all the little roadblocks and shit, we smashed right through them motherfuckers. So that means that not only did our 68-week streak of producing content for y'all remain, but here with this episode, as long as I didn't fucking just jinx it because we're filming and we haven't gotten to the editing stage of that, so I knocked on the wood here, the rest trying here. As long as I didn't just jinx it, we now up to 69 weeks in a row of producing a Real Rush episode for y'all every single week for y'all to be entertained and enjoy and informed. So, fuck yeah. Once again, thank y'all for your support during last week's couple of grim hours. And speaking of streaks, boys got some more Goldberg shit on today. Ooh, the prophecy that I spoke of last week must have come true. Because as of this past Thursday, my birthday eve, your boy got to 174 consecutive Thursdays in a row. That's right, I said consecutive and in a row again because I'm stressing the importance of the shit. We're watching a movie for the first time with these pretty brown eyes. So fresh viewings, 174 Thursdays in a row by your boy. 174-0. Goldberg streak was 173-0. So in my eyes, the Real Rush just broke Goldberg's legendary undefeated streak there, boy. And even more good news, before we get down to that, who's next? Now that I fucking said that, who's next? What's next? Why am I screaming? Who the fuck am I even talking to? I'm talking to y'all. So, another thing to bring up here as we get down to the 3 movies that I have reviewed for y'all for this weekend's ticket. Before we get down to the brass tacks of that, for the first time, now I can officially say this part. We kind of said it last week, but now, for the first time in just over 2 months, all 3 movies that I'm reviewing here for y'all. In this episode right here of The Real Rush are all 3 brand new releases. And my definition of brand new means that it came out within the last month. So, boo, yeah! So let's go ahead and get on down to the brass tacks of the 3 movies that I have reviewed here for y'all for episode 86 of The Real Rush right here, right now. And the movie that I want to kick things off here with is perhaps the biggest release of this weekend. It was supposed to drop in theaters this weekend, but we all know what the fuck's going down with that. No need to remind you of what that, all that shit. But yes, it ended up coming out Prime Video Cinema and all types of platforms for rental and for purchase. And the movie that I am talking about here is Scoob. Scooby-Doo-Doo. I can't do it quite as well as the legendary Frank Welker here, y'all, but I put, you know, I do my part, you know, pay my respect. Scooby-Doo-Doo. Shit. So yes, Scoob, the new Scooby-Doo joint. It is a pseudo reboot / origin story of Scooby-Doo himself. And this follows Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and Daphne and what the hell is the dude's name? Paul, Phil, what the fuck? Fred. There you go. Fred and Daphne and Shaggy and Velma and Scooby-Doo, all the Mystery Inc. gang. This follows them as they must stop Dick Dastardly, who is hell-bent on following through in his latest, greatest plan of world domination. I got to tell you, that Scoob is pretty good, y'all. It's a good introduction to all the little ones who may or may not be, you know, familiar with the character or characters that they're speaking about in the movie that are brought to your attention, but they'll definitely dig the goofiness that is happening throughout the entirety of this hour-and-a-half movie. Adults, however, will still get a kick out of this, as y'all should appreciate the throwbacks and the self-parodies that are not only in store in the movie, but are, in my honest opinion, very well balanced. And I could say well balanced as far as like throwbacks and self-parodies go, as in that none of them see too terribly over the top to like throw it in your face, be like, ta-da, see, you know, referencing some shit from the past that y'all might like. Nah, it's very, very subtle, but they still hit. So very well done. So for the voice cast in this movie, we have like Will Forte, you have Mark Wahlberg, we have Gina Rodriguez, Zac Efron, Amanda Seyfried, of course Frank Welker, Ken Jeong, and Kiersey Clemens, just to name a few. Jason Isaacs, Tracy Morgan. Okay, so we're gonna name a couple more few. And the key players that I want to point out here are Will Forte voices Shaggy. Will Forte does a pretty good Shaggy. Good job, Mr. Forte. Mark Wahlberg, he absolutely kills it as the Blue Falcon. And then we got Gina Rodriguez, who ends up putting a little bit of a Latina flair on the voice of Velma. So, well done by y'all. Those are your standouts. Oh, and of course, Frank Welker. Goes without saying. Still holding it down as Mr. Do. Brother Scoob. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Scooby-Dee-Doo. Y'all, Jason Isaacs and Tracy Morgan voiced Dick Dastardly and Captain Caveman, respectively. Yeah, Captain Caveman makes an appearance in this, not to give too terribly much away. Now, albeit, I gotta say that their forms, as far as like being true to the Dick Dastardly and Captain Caveman characters, they weren't exactly true to the forms that we grew up with. They put their own little spin on it. So those two voices might be an acquired taste for some, but it's not enough to detract from the entire movie. Overall, if you think of it as an extended episode of any Scooby-Doo episode segment, whatever you want to call it, that we grew up with, then you are going to highly enjoy this joint as well. This one probably is 420 friendly. I watched it with as much of a clear mind as possible, but given that it still made me go hee with some of the shit that went on my birthday, I think that this movie is very 420 friendly as well. There are tons of Hanna-Barbera Easter eggs in this. This is intended to be the first installment in some type of extended Hanna-Barbera film universe, so we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. I'm definitely intrigued to see where this goes after seeing Scoob. So definitely pay attention during the ending credits. However, not to give them all away, I just want to name a few that I spotted in film. I spotted Hong Kong Phooey. I spotted a Laugh Olympics Easter egg, if some of y'all even remember that throwback. And a challenge that I want to throw out here. I spotted that the name of the bowling alley is called Takamoto Bowl. And the name of a place in the movie is called Messick Mountain. Takamoto and Messick. Where the hell did they get those names from? I already know the answer to this because I spotted them not only right off the bat, but it became clear to me because your boy, even in childhood, sat through the ending credits of everything. That's something that I brought into adulthood with me, and by doing that, you kind of get to memorize people's names because it's generally the same 70 or 80 people who are involved in every single episode of Scooby-Doo back in the 70s and 80s and whatnot, what have you. So I just gave you kind of like a cheat code on where to find some of these guys, or some of the names here, where those references came from. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna leave it at that there. But even more so, not only is Scoob a good watch for you and your family, as I stated a couple moments ago, this is either available for either rent or buy. Now, you can buy it, but it's not available in any type of physical format yet, so you can only buy it via digital. It was either $20 to rent or it's $25 to buy. Your boy, I know, I'm the one that's always saying I buy shit in physical disc format. Well, your boy went ahead and took the plunge and went ahead and took the extra $5 plunge, and I bought the digital 4K version, so it's stored on my Prime and my Movies Anywhere and all that. I still plan on, that being said, no buyer's remorse. I had no problem going ahead and putting this in my digital queue here permanently because I felt it was that enjoyable. So enjoyable that I will still be seeking out the hard copy of this when it does finally get released in that format. So if that's not a testament to how good I thought Scoob was pulled off, I don't know what else here to say here for y'all. But anywho, people of all ages, go forth, enjoy Scoob. If you don't want to buy it, it's still worth the $20 rental price. But it's kind of like, well, you could either spend $20 on it and only get to see it for 2 days, or you could spend $5 extra on it and you can have it forever. So, do the math, do the discount math, y'all. Overall, Scoob, go have yourselves a good time, y'all. A good throwback time. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Tickets, gonna get down a little bit of serious fare here. As the movie that we gonna review here, right here for y'all, is called Arkansas. Arkansas stars Liam Hemsworth and Clark Duke as Kyle and Swin, respectively, who are drug dealers in Arkansas. And they work under a kingpin. Goes by the name of Frog, played by Vince Vaughn. After a series of unfortunate events, Kyle and Swin find themselves insubordinately climbing the drug trade ladder, but this has some potential heavy prices to pay. And that's just to say the least. Who else we got in this movie? We got John Malkovich, Michael K. Williams, Vivica A. Fox, just to name a few. This is based on a novel by John Brandon. And this marks the directorial debut of the one Mr. Clark Duke. And I have to say that this was a good first effort by Mr. Duke. Let's go ahead and give you a real rush golf clap here, brother. Hell yeah. I dug the hell out of this, y'all. Def better than I expected going in, and I only say this, that was due to reading some of the mixed reviews before heading into the movie. That's why I try not to read other people's reviews before I initially see a movie myself, but I dug the hell out of this, y'all. I found it very reminiscent of some Coen Bros work, and even perhaps a little bit of Tarantino sprinkled in. There are definite homages to each of those within the film itself. And even though it's mostly serious, it does have some lighthearted scenes where they need to be in the movie. So the movie overall does have a really good flow. The development of characters were well done, make the audience care and empathize with them totally by the film's end, and that goes for both the good and the, for lack of a better term, evil characters in the movie. I like the fact that it jumped off right from the giddy up with very minimal slow points throughout it. It's a little bit under 2 hours, the entire movie. And I liked how the story stays deep without getting too complicated. It doesn't take a lot of, synapses to fire to get what's going on the screen here, so I did like that. Awesome use of the cinematography to differentiate between the flashback and the present scenes. Hence, I fucking loved the flashback narrative. And it does have a sweet Gotham music, sweet Western Gothic music score. I'm not even sure if that's like a genre or not. Western Gothic. But that's the music score that is laid down. That's how I'm labeling that shit. That's laid down to emphasize the movie even more. Plus, all the actual songs from the Arkansas soundtrack are fittingly sung by the Flaming Lips, y'all. Overall, I found it to be an excellent neo-noir western of sorts. So that being said, if you liked Hell or High Water, then I think you're going to dig Arkansas too, y'all. I found it for rent, Prime Video Cinema, $5.99. I think they might have it for purchase too. Go ahead and take that plunge, y'all. Get Rent, check it out, and enjoy yourselves. And you know what? Because of the fact that it does have mixed reviews, this is going to be the one that I want to, be the conversation starter for this week's episode of Real Rush right here, right now. So, let me know what you thought about Arkansas. Feel free to type whatever thoughts into the comment section on this YouTube page where you're reviewing this week's episode right here, and we shall have a discussion further on Arkansas. But for the time being, take my advice, check Arkansas, and I think you'll dig it as well. Last but most certainly not least on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we're finishing things, so we're going to cap things off with a new documentary, a new Netflix documentary. Came out just after 420. If it came out before 420, I would have reviewed it for the 420 episode, but it didn't. Hence, the movie that we're going to wrap things up here with this episode is Have a Good Trip, Adventures in Psychedelics. Boy has had plenty of those. Yet well, no, that's not a digression because we still talk about psychedelics. Anywho, Have a Good Trip is a brand new Netflix documentary that takes quite the comic look into the world of psychedelic drugs. It is filled with interviews with medical professionals that have their takes on both the pros and the cons of psychedelic drug use, as well as tales from comedians and actors, actresses, and other celebrity figures alike as they tell their own experiences with experimenting with various psychedelic substances. I watched this just under the power of the herbs, since your boy doesn't touch psychedelics ever since the whole epilepsy thing. Even though psychedelics more than likely wouldn't fuck with that, but they could fuck with your mind just enough to where you could more or less trick yourself into having a seizure or some shit. So we stay away from those. So we just watched a little bit of the herb power, and even with just that, your boy fucking Loved every single second of this documentary, y'all. It's outright hilarious. And out of all the people who are telling their tales on screen here, by far the top three that I gotta call out for having the best stories, hand down, are Anthony Bourdain, Nick Kroll, and DJ Ad-Rock of the Beastie Boys here, y'all. Not to mention that because Anthony Bourdain sadly left us since he filmed his piece for the documentary, we got Carrie Fisher in here as well here, y'all. So their two stories are touching as well in retrospect, given that they're no longer with us. Rest in peace, Mr. Bourdain and Miss Fisher. Nick Offerman and Adam Scott absolutely kill it with the public service announcement type throwbacks. And you just gotta, obviously we can't talk about a movie that's based on doing psychedelics without touching on experiences with psychedelics yourselves. So that being said, if you have done or experimented, so yeah, if you have done psychedelics before, you will definitely be able to relate to the stories and everything else that is being portrayed through this documentary. And I can say this having only touched one of the drugs on the list that they have mentioned here. And we're going to get to that, my experience here in a second. So that being said, you probably only need to have done one from the list to really get what's going on screen here. Now you might have had to do that, just more than once, but I don't know, to each their own. But if you haven't ever dabbled in psychedelics before, this should still be enjoyable. It might make you want to try them, or it might make you envious if you look back on your life. If you're not in a circumstance where you can have them, if you got a good job and you got a family to look after and all that, it might make you look back and say, man, I wish I had tried that back in my prime or whatever. Which makes me wonder. Same as like when you look back on like in school, like, man, I never got the hot girl, or I was never like the all-star athlete or anything like that. I didn't have like all the I wasn't like Mr. Popular or anything. So if people can look back on their previous like high school and college experiences and say those types of things, I'm wondering, I gotta ask the question, do people look back on those times and say, damn, I kind of wish I had tried those mushrooms at just that one time, or maybe I should have taken that tab of acid. Maybe, what would my life have been? What would that have done to me? Who knows? Answer that question for me, because I know the answer to my story. I tried the shit, and it helped a lot of things going on up here. Now, of course, my drug of choice was not a psychedelic, but again, that's a different story for a different day. Or just watch any of the 420 episodes, because I mentioned it a lot then too. Now, with that being said, I do want to throw out there, though this documentary is mostly funny, it does do a great job in warning that these drugs, or these types of drugs, are not for everybody, man. Like I said, it helped me deal with a lot of things that were going on with me up here, and emotionally and physically at that time. But it is some shit that you do have to prepare for. So while I'm not condoning that, hey, you just run out and get yourself a bag of shrooms and whatever. If you want to do that, go right ahead. Be my guest. Just know that this is definitely it's more powerful than just your average toke. That's all I'm saying. If you're the kind that gets paranoid just taking a toke every once in a while, then maybe psychedelics really aren't for you. Anywho, overall, outstanding documentary, y'all. Outstanding documentary. And as I stated a couple moments here ago, that because of the fact that if you have done psychedelics sometime in your life, that this documentary will make you relate in some way, somehow, then I have to elate y'all with my own personal experience as I'm about to tell y'all, lay down for y'all, my first ever time doing shrooms with what I call the Easy Rider story. So back in my college days when I was living in my fraternity house, spring break fell upon us. And there were three of us brothers who weren't going anywhere for that spring break. We were just going to be chilling at the house. So we figured, hey, it's a perfect time. Everybody else is either at the beach or away or somewhere, but we know that they're not fucking coming here to the house. So how about this? We take this as an opportune time, take some shrooms, we fucking chill the fuck out, watch some movies, just have a good time, just the three of us. And I had never touched shrooms before, so I agreed to say, yes, this would be a perfect time because of the fact that there wasn't going to be anybody else involved, and I knew that my two brothers who I was going to be doing this shit with, I was going to be in good company, because that's very important to keep in mind if you're about to do some hardcore psychedelics. You got to be in good company. You don't want to be with people that are going to take you down a bad path, because that'll cause a bad trip, and you don't want a fucking bad trip, especially when it's your first time tripping. So, we sitting there, popping shrooms, passing the bong around. I tried taking a sip of beer, but I quickly learned that, at least for me, alcohol and shrooms don't mix. And it different strokes for different folks, but mine took about 45 minutes to kick in. And when they kicked in, they fucking kicked in. I saw my boy's TV screen do like this shit, the boom, and the screen looked like it was just kind of like coming alive and looking like it was kind of like starting to gel outside of the realm of its ovular TV screen setting there. And every time we went to go take a bong hit or smoke something, the smoke, no matter what, it always seemed to just waft towards the screen and would just sit there in front of the screen. And I would say, hey guys, look, the weed smoke, it wants to watch TV more than we do. And we all got a good laugh out of that. Yet I digress. My boy says the perfect movie that we should watch right now is Easy Rider. Now, I had never seen Easy Rider before. And after having seen Easy Rider, not only for the first time, but that being the first movie that I was ever introduced to on my ever first trip on mushrooms, I can wholeheartedly tell you that shit is not a good fucking movie to trip your balls out on mushrooms on. If you've seen it, you know, well, I don't know if you know why, but you could probably pick out some points in that movie where it's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't take any hardcore drugs and watch that movie. Is it a bad movie to trip to? Not necessarily. But for your first time, I wouldn't recommend that shit. I would definitely recommend something a little bit on the heavier side. Anywho, yet I digress. So I survived through the madness, which is Easy Rider. They had already seen the shit before, and had probably seen it on whatever god substances known to man under the fucking sun by that point. Your boy was a virgin to all this shit. So, after the movie goes off, we cut the lights on, and I'm sitting there a little devastated at what the fuck I had just seen on screen. I went to go have a cigarette, because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I took one puff of my fucking cigarette, and immediately almost threw up from the shit. So, I had no recourse action. It was like, I'm just stuck. I need a cigarette, but I can't fucking smoke because my body won't let me. And I'm stuck because this movie just fucked me up. And oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So my boy, who was a fellow movie buff, grabbed me and he said, alright man, let's just chill out. Let's just chill the fuck out, man. Here, have another bong hit. And the bong hit did good. Let's write a movie, man. We're gonna fucking write a movie right here, right now, man. Let's fucking do it. I said, yeah, man. Let's write a movie. We ain't gonna have no disruptions or nothing throughout the night. Let's write a fucking movie, man. So we sit down at his desk, at his computer desk, and this man gets all into the making of this movie. I'm talking about from fucking storyboard all the way up until the premiere event that we were going to have, a red carpet and all that shit somewhere in Los Angeles. He's going on about this shit for like 15, 20, 25 minutes. The man is barely taking any breaths, just going on about how great and shit this is gonna be, and he's so fueled and just so like hyped up and like heated in a good way and just impassioned by the words that were coming out of his mouth that I noticed something about his face at that time that I had never noticed before, and it just kind of took me aback, like, holy shit. Not only does this guy knows what he's talking about, but I think I know why that this man seems so fueled up and jacked up. It's not just because about what he feels, but he fucking feels what he feels, and with the words that are coming out of his mouth, he is speaking truth because it has so much fire and passion behind it. And I can't tell you to this day what the fuck he was talking about, but I can tell you this goddamn much. After his 25 minute diatribe finally ended, he looked me dead in the eye and asked me, J-Dub, what do you think of all that? And I looked him right back dead in the eye and honestly said the only thing that I could spurt out at that time, dude, your face is on fire. And I say that because of the fact that the man had been speaking with such intensity and shit that I actually saw flames appearing on the man's face. And the man's hairdo was all fucking, I mean, his hairdo was already all fucked up to begin with, but that just kind of even like, it just even like went Super Saiyan even more in flames. And pretty sure he saw like little clouds of smoke coming out of his ears and shit. I'm sure that was just from the fucking bong that was going back and forth, but that's what was happening. And the man started dying laughing as soon as he said that, and then when he started dying laughing, I started dying laughing. We laughed for what seemed like 20 minutes fucking straight, but it turned out it was only 2 before there was a knock on his door. We're interrupted, and we figured, oh, that just must be our boy, you know, the third party, after he went back to his room, did some shit, and wanted to come back. But nah, there's a different fraternity brother here. Wait a minute. What the fuck's he doing here? You're supposed to be on spring break. You're supposed to be the fuck out of this area. Not even at this house. What are you doing here? And it's at that moment before he answered, what are you doing here, that I heard the unmistakable bass rhythms of music coming from downstairs. So I'm thinking to myself, tell me this dude just showed up by himself and decided to walk over and turn on the fucking stereo at the DJ booth and just join us. Just tell me that, right? That's what you're here for, right, man? And he's like, no, man, well, we figured, you know, like we didn't have a lot of money to really go anywhere for spring break, man, so we figured, why not just do a party at the house, man? Now my boy, he's all about going downstairs and fucking being, being amongst the crowd, when he's under that kind of influence. But this, being my first time, I wanted nothing to do with this shit, man. There were fucking 1 million parties that year. Then there were gonna be 1 million more. So if I miss this one, that's okay. But I cannot fucking deal with a lot of people right now. So what did I do? I went to my room. Now luckily the layout of our house meant that I could get from my room, from my boy's room to my room in the fraternity house without being seen pretty much from anybody. I call the shit the Clue Mansion to this day because there were a lot of nooks and crannies on the top floor of the house, right? So this means not only would I be not seen by anybody from the bottom floor, but I wouldn't have to worry about running into hopefully not too many people on the top floor either. Make it to my room. Sit down. I'm just sitting there like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Because now I'm by myself. And that's when the mind starts to wonder, and that can either be a really good thing or a really fucking bad thing. In my instance, at this point, it was fine. I cut the TV on. I put on Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and didn't even play the game. I just fucking let the visuals and shit go over the screen. Like, this is what I needed right now. And a couple minutes into that, what do I hear at my door? Who the fuck is this? It's another one of my fraternity brothers. It's a different one than we just saw a couple moments ago. He comes in, man. He's like, "Hey, man, there's a party going on downstairs. You just gonna chill out up here, man, all night?" Like, yeah, man. I'm not in the mood to party or anything. I'm not trying to let on to this motherfucker that I'm tripping my balls off right now. Because this motherfucker right here was one of the people who was notorious that if you were anything other than drunk, like if you were high, if you were stoned, you were tripping on something, what have you, he was one of those type of motherfuckers that will not only call you out about it, but do it loudly enough so everybody can fucking hear and make them come look at your ass. Be like, "Oh, look at these guys' red eyes. Oh, you must have the munchies or something. You're high. Gonna get you something from 7-Eleven, man." One of those types of dudes, right? So I'm not trying to let on. So I'm just like, "Yo, man, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Just. Matter of fact, can you just leave me the fuck alone?" Is exactly what I said. And I guess the way that I looked up at him, he saw my face, and he said, "Dude, you're not just high. You're fucking tripping right now, aren't you?" And that's when I said, "Yeah, but shh, keep that shit on the down low." And this motherfucker, what's his nuts from Friday? Ezel had tighter lips than this guy. Because at least Ezel kept the fact that Smokey was taking a shit a secret for a hot, like, 2 or 3 seconds. This motherfucker didn't even wait that long before he was like, "Hey, come in Jado's room. This motherfucker is tripping." Within 5 seconds, I got this dude, 2 other brothers, and 4 of the finest hoes from George Mason University at that time, all up in my face, just like, "Oh, is everything all wavy? Is that, what does it look like? What do I look like? What do I sound like?" They cover this in the Have a Good Trip documentary, by the way, y'all. Don't fucking do that if you know that somebody is tripping. Not only could you possibly send them on a bad trip, that's just a possibility. What is an inevitability is you're going to piss them off, and they are going to scream at you. And it's going to seem like it's unjustified screaming, but trust me, it's completely justified in this situation. That shit lasted all of 3 to 4 seconds before I said, "Get the fuck out my room." And they were like, "But why? We're just, get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out!" As I said, rapid fire, just like people making it rain dollars. Rapid fire, "Get the fuck out of my room! Get the fuck out of my room!" And as my boy, the one who instigated the whole thing, wanted to go leave, he said, "Why are you being so angry?" Last words, "Get the fuck out of my room!" He shuts the door. Now I'm not having a good trip anymore at this point. The GTA on my TV and all that shit, not helping. Head in hands, ceiling fan, going a million miles a minute, trying to keep me cool, because I am pissed off and possibly freaking out at this point. Then again I hear, "Who the fuck is this?" Not gently, but rapping at my chamber door. So I calmly asked, "Who is it?" And my boy said, "It's me." But it was nobody else that I'd already previously talked to. No, this is one of the chiller dudes. And I said, "Oh, good. I could use his ambiance right now." So I opened up the door, made sure it was only him. I said, Yes, please, come in, good sir. Please. He's like, okay." So he's like, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm tripping my fucking balls off right now, man. What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just kind of roaming the party. But I wanted to let you know that there's a girl downstairs looking for you." What does she look like? Short, brunette, really high-pitched voice. Fuck! Because the girl that he had just described to me just happened to be a girl that I broke up with no more than 3 days prior to this fucking mind-expanding drug trip. So if I can't handle a fucking crowd party at this time, there is no fucking way that I'm gonna be able to handle looking at my now ex-girlfriend at this time and trying, and possibly more than likely having to explain some shit. So I asked him, dude, does she know that I'm here? And before he could even say a complete word of yes, he said, yeah. I said, alright, I need you to do this. I need you to go downstairs, grab so-and-so. He's gonna understand. I need you to pull the car around the back door. That way I can leave and nobody can fucking see me. We're going to IHOP. That was my escape plan. And that's exactly what the fuck we did. 5 minutes went by. I waited for the cue on my cell phone to do or whatever. Out the door we go. Down the street to IHOP. 4 of us, including my tripping ass. We're sitting there. They're eating food. I'm not hungry at this point. The waitress looked at me and said, "Can I get you anything?" And I had no idea what the fuck was coming out of her mouth at that point. It was blah, 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 blah. And I said, "No, water. Great. Thanks. Water and a straw. Make sure there's ice in it." I do remember saying, make sure there's ice in it with the straw. And my boy, one of them just sitting there looking at me like, "Dude, you look so fucked up right now, man." But at least the way he was saying it, it was funny by this point as we sat in IHOP. Now, I don't remember what the fuck happened after that. I imagine I went back to the house and calmed my tits a little bit more. But that there is my tripping story, ladies and gents. To compliment. Have a good trip. My review of that. And that, my friends, is a wrap of episode 86 right here of The Real Rush right here on YouTube for your asses. I want to let you know, just as I did last week, that us bandits, we got some new shit out, y'all. I told y'all about Bandit Boxes, which is up on our Facebook page. We got an even newer video, our first ever digital short, up on our Facebook page as well. I'm calling it the $2 video. It's really called The Power of $2 a Day. Why don't you check it out? It's about a 3-4 minute watch. And we're even working on some upcoming Memorial Day shit for y'all. So stay tuned via the Facebook page. That's where you can see the 2 videos. Our Facebook page, you can find that as Stagecoach Theater Company on Facebook. If there's more than one, just search for the one in Ashburn, Virginia. And as always, check out our website, stagecoachtc.com. That's Stagecoach, T as in Tom, C as in Coach.com, to follow us for updates at this time. And if you would like to make sure that we can please stay up and running, so any support and any donations at this time be greatly appreciated. So much thanks on that here, y'all. What's coming up for y'all here on episode 87 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube? Normally this is where I'd say, who the fuck knows? But I do know that The Lovebirds, which we were supposed to get in theaters at the beginning of April, that's dropping on Netflix as of this coming Friday. So we'll have that reviewed for you. And then aside from that, who the fuck knows? So you want to make sure that you tune in. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any shit like that for your boy here, feel free to go ahead and type those on into the comments section of the YouTube page where you're reviewing this week's episode right here, right now. To everybody who has subscribed to The Real Rush here on YouTube thus far, thank you for having done so. If you haven't done so yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first to know when your boy drops a new episode? Remember, we still gotta be spreading love these days, even though we can't physically touch each other, y'all. So when you're spreading your love, make sure you're spreading the word of The Real Rush in the same manner. Share the wealth. Get the word out there. Help your boy become established. And remember that The Real Rush does have replay value. It's not like I release an episode and then once a new one comes out, that's it for that episode. Nah, fuck that, man. Fuck that noise, Jack. any movie that you want to get your boys' thoughts on and get a good honest to God review of, all you gotta do is go up to the top of the YouTube page here and type in the YouTube search bar, in quotation marks, The Real Rush, followed by, outside of quotation marks, the name of the movie that you're looking for, and then boom! Instant movie review on demand for you, cause your boy J-Dub and The Real Rush got y'all covered for life, son! And as always, you can follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur. And you can follow your boy at J-Dub Champion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, ladies and gents, I am your boy J-Dub. Thank you once again for tuning in to episode 86 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. Hoping that this episode is still finding everybody as safe and healthy as y'all could possibly be. And if you ain't, hopefully this episode finds you on the mend, on the road to recovery from whatever may ail you. But in this meantime, y'all, remember, enjoy yourselves, chill the hell out, have fun, y'all. Love, J-Dub. And we'll see you next weekend.